Welcome to the Steve Kenyon podcast, and I am thrilled to be joined by a young fellow. We were just talking before I started this interview about the first year that I produced a national radio broadcast for the NFR. There was this fresh-faced 18-year-old kid who was 6 months after going to his high school prom. He was at his first named Tuf Cooper. That was 15 years ago, Tuf. The years have been real good to you. I'm just going to tell you that right off the bat. Welcome. How are you?
Steve Kenyon, thanks for having me. Yes, sir. Life has been awesome. You know, being able to be a Cowboy, as we all experience, you get 15 years under your belt, you're going to see some things. And but each day waking up being a Cowboy is quite awesome.
Yeah. I remember Trevor Brazil. I wish I still had the interview someplace. He made a comment. He said, we may not make we might not be making what baseball players make, but we get up and get on a horse.
Yeah. His famous quote, it's it might not be the most money you'll make, but there's no better way to make a living.
Yeah. You're in Las Vegas right now, right? You just got done roping at the rodeo in San Diego. Now you're hanging out in Vegas. What are you doing, world travel?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Vegas happens to be on the way to Denver from San Diego. So that's why I'm repping all the Palm stuff here. Just thinking about last month out here in December and get a few days off. And Denver rodeo's already started. I'm competing at the end of it, and then Fort Worth from there.
Did you go to the American qualifier there in Vegas, or
no, sir? I ended up in the top 5. So
okay,
yeah, yes, sir.
True Fashion Cooper has been a part of literally every interview I have done with Tuf this year. I remember talking to you in Livingston, Montana. She was there. I talked to you twice during the NFR. Once she wasn't with you.
Yes, sir.
NFR, that little girl's getting all kinds of FaceTime.
Well, with a face like this, she kind of needs to.
Yeah. Okay. Thank God she looks like her mom, Tuf.
Exactly. Yes. Is that funny?
Yeah. Anyway, hey, so let me ask you about San Diego, and then I want to go back and ask you a little bit about the NFR, and there's some other things I want to get into. Tell me about that rodeo in San Diego. It took place over the weekend at the it's Petco Park, where the Padres play their baseball games. You won the tie down roping. You won over $20,000. It wasn't sanctioned by anybody, but 20 grand's 20 grand. Tell me about that rodeo.
San Diego downtown. It was absolutely amazing. Thank you for everyone putting it on, making it possible. I thought it was really cool that, first thought, when I heard they're having a rodeo, I was like, how can I be involved? Are they having all the events? They were having all the events, and luckily enough, I got in. And you go and you compete in front of 20,000. I don't want to say any numbers, but there was a lot. But I thought the cool thing that the producers they weren't afraid to go to a spot that is rodeo controversial. And the fans showed up. They loved every event. They had a great time. There was actually, I invited a gentleman that's a chiropractor in San Diego that's never been to a rodeo before. Shows up, and he absolutely loved it. The words that he had to say after about just our industry was awesome. And I believe that's the type of events that we need to be working towards as the industry. And those guys this weekend showed and proved that our lifestyle, our Western way of living, the rodeo world, is attractive.
You mentioned, some of the stuff going on in California. San Diego's not that far south of Los Angeles, where the city council has been talking about doing things that might put us out of business in that part of the world. But did you feel like we had a chance to showcase rodeo to Southern California in a very positive way? I don't know if what happened in San Diego has any impact on what happens in LA, but from that standpoint, how did you feel about it?
Oh, they loved it. The crowd, they absolutely loved it. The fans, I was able to interact with them, and after the event, and everyone was just so excited that we were having a rodeo down there in Southern California. So I believe that event is going to continue to grow. There is no telling, with the people in place that have produced it, there's no telling how big it could get.
That's awesome. And I haven't asked. I talked to one of the other champions yesterday, and we didn't get into the some of the other issues surrounding the rodeo, but I think it's awesome. And I wish I could have gone. I couldn't. I wish I could have. The crowd was receptive. Tell me about roping. Tell me about actually winning the rodeo.
So the competition was really fun. We had the Kevs were, really prepared for that scenario. They had the Calgary rules in place where, it's fast times, keep them standing, and the cattle were prepared for that short setup. You had, 12 guys. It was a cool newer format that, we'd never really, that was similar in numbers, but the way you advanced was through money won.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it was basically a clean slate each time, but you carried your money towards the very end. And I was able to get off to a good start. I won the first round, so that pretty much advanced me to the Sunday perf. It was 3 perfs, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday, and they took 12 guys down to 8, and then down to 4, and then the fastest time won $20,000. Shoot, second paid 15, and third paid 10, and fourth paid 5. So some guys made some really good money all weekend, but especially for a first time event. And while the entire nation is being iced over, we're in Southern California having a rodeo outside. It was awesome. I got to take my daughter to the zoo, take her to the beach. It was such a good family event for us. We had a lot of fun.
And you said you went to Las Vegas too. How did you work that back and forth?
Well, no, we're just on the way to Las Vegas. Yeah. Yes, and I was in the top 5, so I got qualified.
Yeah,
yes,
you
sir.
Didn't have to go through qualifiers for the American because you finished.
Yes, sir.
Standings. I got you. I'm glad to hear your report on San Diego, Tuf. I really am.
Oh, yes, sir. I think that event is going to continue to grow and grow and grow.
By the way, it just dawned on me, folks. This is a little nostalgia. Tuf and I are doing this interview, full disclosure, on a Tuesday.
That's funny. I don't think anybody even knows what that is besides you anymore.
Once upon a time, years ago, Western Sports Roundup, when the show first started, it wasn't me. It was Alexis Bloomer that started it when she used to host the show with Flint Rasmussen, I think. They did you did Tuf Cooper Tuesdays for a couple of years, right?
We did. Me and you chatted on the air for quite some time, every Tuesday for a few minutes, which was so awesome to be able to catch up.
Kind of fun to be able to follow around. Tuf, let me ask you about. I want to ask you about the NFR, but since you just had your daughter in your lap there, and obviously she's where you are right now. Let me ask you about the impact of family. Your wife, Tiffany, is very successful. She is a fashion influencer. She started the Fashion Posse blog during the National Finals Rodeo. You're a proud dad with a little girl that she must go everywhere with you because every time I talk to you, she's in your talk about all of that.
I am very fortunate to be able to spend so much time with my family. And that's, a reason why I think, our lifestyle, our industry is so awesome because it allows for that to happen. We all work together towards, what I do, my goals, my dreams, so roping calves. And it's so awesome to have a family that is so supportive of that is willing to drive across the country day in and day out. To be able to just keep, living that dream. And there's nothing better. It's really cool. My wife, Tiffany, she created a Fashion Posse blog, which just highlights the fashion in the Western industry. And, it gives her something to do on her own, that is, it's not warming up my calf horse or feeding or driving. That's connected to the industry. And it's so awesome with all the relationships that we have and the friendships that we have, like ours that we have, that we just cherish. And that's to me, probably the most important thing is just, community and enjoying what we do and just trying to live in love, I guess.
3 or 4 years ago, maybe more than that now. I probably 3 or 4, maybe the year before the coronavirus. I remember doing Western Sports Roundup from the National Finals Rodeo. I was still with the Cowboy Channel, and Amy Wilson and I were hosting it. And the last thing we did every day on the show was NFR fashion. And Tiffany would come over along with a couple of other of her associates and Amy. And then I'm sitting right there in the middle while these ladies discuss fat. You want to talk about a fish completely out of water. But she's really, it's not fair to just buttonhole her into the fashion thing, but she has really taken that and taken it to another level, hasn't she?
I think just by, her highlighting, not just her fashion, but other girls' fashion, other wives, other rodeo fans' fashion within the industry. And it has, I believe she has helped, take it to another level. It's having girls dress up and enjoy it. And that's good for everybody, growth and, people, striving to, want to be their best selves is wildly important, and highlighting others and, knowing when, it's your dream, and then also knowing whenever it's someone else's dream. And that's what's so cool. I think that what she does.
I want to take you back. I believe it was 2017. You were the all-around champion, right?
Yes, sir.
And you're on stage getting your gold buckle at the National Finals Rodeo in the 10th go-around. You may have scared the living daylights out of, I believe it was Suzanne Alexander.
Yes.
You dropped to a knee in front of 17,000 people at the Thomas and Mack and proposed to Tiffany. And when I say you may have scared Suzanne to death, it's because you dropped to a knee right in front of her, if I remember. Did you pre-plan that, or did it just happen?
There was a voice inside my head throughout the season that year, nudging me to that moment. And I was like, I'm not going to win the all around, whatever. I'm a calf roper, know. And then it worked out, and I was like, well, all right, God, I guess I got to follow through with the the voice that you've been saying in my head. So, yes, sir. I did. And it, I kind of realized, I'm sure he's working in a lot of ways, but one of the ways that he was working within me was, that was probably my biggest stage in my career, my biggest moment of success in the arena. And, what he showed me was, to put family first. And that's, I think, a quality that I'm going to be able to pass on to my children, is no matter, how many miles we drive, no matter, how dedicated we are to our dream, but that it's more important to have family first ahead of that.
Tough. You just talked about, the calling, and I actually sent Tough a list of some topics I wanted to talk about, and we've almost gotten to one of them so far. But you talked about the calling and talked about the voice in your head, and would folks be surprised if they learned how many rodeo contestants are on the road who are men and women of very deep faith?
Oh, I am so grateful to be in this industry for that reason alone. Who knows where I would be with my relationship with God, or who I would be without the faith, in God, the all-knowing, if I was in another industry. And that's what I say. I love the connection just to our people, because, I would say 99.99% of us have a faith background and upbringing. If not, we'll share one with you.
Yeah,
I guarantee you that.
I got it. I understand. Tuf Cooper's joining us, and just got done with his 15th National Finals Rodeo. You giggled. I think you might have seen the eye roll when you made the comment about having people who are willing to travel cross country with you. And my first thought was not what you accomplished at the NFR, which I want to ask you about in a minute, but what you did to get to the NFR this year. You went the Taylor Santos route. I mean, you were
I did.
California to Maine to all over the place. Talk about that last 2 or 3 weeks of the rodeo season just to sneak into the NFR in the number 15 spot.
It was probably one of the best things that has happened to me, is to be on the bubble, right there at the finish line. And to be able to really, hammer down and get to every rodeo. I had a ton of rodeos to get to. So I was going everywhere as fast as I could. And so many people were helping me. And I think probably my biggest takeaway from that is something that I continue today, 3 months later, 4 months later, to build on, is just how much fun this is. Just to try to, put it in the best perspective possible and really just enjoy it no matter what, and turn the things over to God that's his, and let him figure out those things and let me figure out how to just enjoy it and have fun. And whenever I started doing that, I started getting better results, and I brought that out to Vegas, and probably had my best NFR ever. Even though I didn't place in the average, I went from 15th to 5th in the world. My horsepower has been awesome. And, I'm just continuing to, learn and let go as much as possible to the things that, aren't mine, and just focus on having fun, really.
I went back and I re-listened to the interview I did with you after the 9th go round, and actually posted a little clip of it on social media to help to promote this show, Tuf. But it was, the question that I asked you was, you're having your best finals in a long time. And your answer was something along the lines of coming in here 15th with Riley Webb's got that big lead. I don't have anything I'm just going to go have fun, bro. Money I could win. I think it's kind of the way you went with all of that.
Yes, sir. I wasn't getting any worse at that point. Yes, sir. And that's when you are in a position that, there's no pressure, and the pressure that you have, you're able to, just, release that as much as possible. Then, you have fun. And you just see what's in store for you. And wow, how much God has blessed me, ever since then.
Let me take you back 13 years. 2010, I believe, was the first year that you and your brothers qualified for the National Finals Rodeo, all as a group. Obviously, Trevor was running hard at that time, winning all-around titles every year.
Yes, sir.
And this family, as I remember, you guys kind of got together as a group to prepare, to practice, especially prior to the National Finals Rodeo. Am I right in that? Take me back to what that was like back then. Did your dad ever jump on a horse and say, okay, boys, here, let me show you how it's done? I mean, what was that like at that time?
Well, Steve, we've been living on a family compound, since 2005, 2004. So it has been the atmosphere that we've had at the house since 2004 has been an NFR type practice scenario where, you have, me and my two other brothers and my brother-in-law, Trevor Brazil. And, we have two different places. He has arenas, we have indoors. So it is practice nonstop. And I grew up in that environment, being the youngest one, which really helped me as a young kid to, strive to, want to beat those guys. I was getting to practice with, really the best guys in the world nearly every day, especially with the guys that were showing up, just, from Trevor's, friends, or, Roy's friends. And then I get into, a professional career, and we're all competing at the NFR, and we have our, our practice sessions before, the arena is running hot all day long. We all have our little time slots, Clint would go in the mornings, Cliff would be in the afternoons, and I'm taking it all night long. And it would be a lot of fun. We're always helping each other. One of the fun, we would sometimes have some fun though. We would be done calf roping for our practice sessions. We'd have some steers, and we would just kind of mess around and team rope, and that's when we'd get all our laughs in for the day. So we worked hard and had fun.
Start bulldogging or something.
I shoulda.
You're actually a pretty good team roper. You were 2-time Texas high school champion.
I had a really good horse and a really good partner, and yes, sir. It was fun. I did not continue to practice once I was, old enough to realize, hey, I got a shot to make the NFR when I'm 18, and that's kind of my goals. Then I kind of just, put all my eggs in one basket and dedicated, my entire life to that, and for a very long time, never picked my head up. So, the team roping was fun, especially in high school. I should have learned more about it, because there's so much to learn within other disciplines of the sport that can, help you to, whatever your event that you're going to do. I was just talking yesterday, Brush and Minton, he bulldogs and team ropes.
Right.
And to me, that makes a perfect calf roper, someone who's gritty and someone who knows how to, handle the rope and ride their horse. That's a perfect combination for a calf roper to me.
So you just answered my next question, which was, you also have qualified. The thing that won you the all around that one year was you qualified for the single steer roping finals 4 times. Used to tie a steer rope and steer like a tie down roping calf, if I remember right.
Yes, sir.
A little weird, but it worked. So all of that, did one event crosses over to the other? One event makes you better than the other, then, is what you're saying?
I truly believe so. It's just like, furthering your education. Learning new skills is good for the mind. It's good for everything. I think there's not very many guys that even think about 2 events. And, I would always, when you watch the team roping though, when Tyler Wade is having them wearing it and Derek Begay is having them wear, you're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And then you get out there and you're 5 flat, and you're like, and you think you made a great run.
Right.
Like the team ropers nowadays have taken it. It's unreal what they're doing. Driggers, like, wow.
In 5 flat, T Wade and Agaskiza, and some of those guys are already back.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Those guys throw, it seems like. Tuf, you mentioned the atmosphere when I asked you about you guys and your brothers in the compound and all that. Obviously, your dad, Roy Cooper's in the Hall of Fame. You're going to join him someday. Obviously, Trevor's in the Hall of Fame. You're going to join him someday. You grew up around winners. And I think you and I talked once upon a time about you also grew up around some of the best horses in the roping industry.
Oh, absolutely.
And how much of that did you?
Oh my goodness. So when you're a young kid and your dad put you on Topper, your brother-in-law put you on Texaco,
wow.
your uncle puts you on Destiny, you get a feel for what greatness is. And it's a good thing and a bad thing, because 1, that's what you want every time now. But 2, it shows you, where to go. And I'd never really developed the horsemanship skills at a younger age. I was really, really focused on just developing my skills. And later in life that, kind of bit me in the butt, but, I can rope on anything. Just like, Shad Mayfield grew up, just like Riley Webb grew up, you figure it out. Winning is what the focus is. And as much money as, the purses are paying nowadays, you can buy one. There's trainers out there, and if there wasn't ropers like us that needed great horses, then those trainers wouldn't be, doing what they do every day and enjoying it. And I think it works, full circle for everybody. And the goal really is, to be able to operate one of those. You listen to me right here. I'm telling you this too, darling. The goal is to be able to operate one of those amazing animals. Because we're so grateful to work with horses. They're the coolest. And a calf horse, they have to do so much. They have to stand right there flat-footed, break across the line, collect themselves, and raid off with that calf. Make it easy for you to rope. Have good timing. They have to have a great stop and punch out of it. And when you leave them, you got your back to them. So they have to, keep the rope tight. And when you flank the calf, they need to stop and then stay there and keep it tight. And then don't move whenever you're in front of a crowd that has, 18,000 people cheering as loud as they can.
Yeah. Are you ready for Steve's dumb question of the interview? Because you've been to the finals in both events, and I'm never sure who the better trained horses are, the tie down roping horses or the steer roping horses. Steer roping is an amazing skill for horses, I think.
Yes, it is. Yes, sir. Steer horses definitely take longer to train. It seems, a good old teenager in both events is probably the best horse you could ask for. But, you see the occasional, young horse that, is at the NFR or that, is competing, at the steer roping finals.
Yeah. Let me ask you about what you would tell. Do you put on a bunch of schools? Do you put on any school stuff, or do you have time?
I don't. There's always kids at the house in the arena nearly every day. I have a group of Brazilian guys that are living with us now, and they're training, and they do daily roping lessons. So for anybody that is looking to, get some roping lessons, these are the guys that actually help me every day. And they're phenomenal, and they're giving roping lessons. And I'll go down there and I'll typically just run the chute. But I am helping. It is the most important thing to me is to give back to the kids, and especially right now when I'm getting to compete for a living. I'm not really looking to charge money for it, but we are setting up a roping clinic in Costa Rica, having an international training grounds for Brazil, all of America, Central America. There's some people that rope down there too. And even Australia, we're going to have a big clinic and then work on clinics, throughout the year there. I have a buddy that has an amazing facility, has a big ranch, and be double for everybody in America. It's going to double as a vacation. The flights are super cheap, and just to get away, let's go focus on roping with our team. And I'll bring like my brother and my uncle and these other Brazilian trainers all together and start putting something cool together there. But that's starting this year and going to continue to grow.
When's that going to be, Tuf? Do you know?
We're shooting for a small one in March, just to more of a for the country for Costa Rica, but then shoot for a big one right after Christmas of next year. That way people can plan a vacation.
Got it. You're also involved in Tuf Cooper's, I think you call it Junior Championships. It's on you can see it on your website. Talk about that a little bit, just about the opportunity to give back. And then my follow-up question to all of that is going to be this. What would you tell a young person just starting out in roping? What's the most important thing they need to build on for a foundation?
Well, the junior events has always been something that's been one of my dad's passions. He's put on junior events, his whole career, or something my grandpa did. And it's something that, I have done a little bit. And he actually, Roy, there's all these junior events out here in Vegas nowadays during the NFR. And I remember when I was a kid, my dad would talk to all the people out here in Vegas and say, hey, we need to get junior events out here. We need to get junior events out here. And finally, one day, he got the first junior event out here. It was the junior Roy Cooper World Champion Junior Cafer Open at Vegas. It was 2000, like, I don't know, like probably 12-ish, somewhere in there. Right. But it was the first one out here in Vegas. And since then, I mean, now this is kids show up in this town and they're competing more than I am, which is cool. And it seems to be to me that the numbers are growing. Our industry is continuing to grow, and it's within the youth that it does grow, and that's what's so important. And then I know you do a lot, with educating and working towards the same goal as I believe that I do, and so many of us do.
Right. In a way, you guys that have been around a while got to be careful what you wish for, because all of the you're creating the next Riley Webb.
I've known him since he's been 3 years old. Me and his dad Dirk have been great friends. Dirk used to pick me up and take me to the jackpots, and
really,
and yes, sir. We'd go to the Tuesday night jackpot, and Riley has lived 30 miles from my house, and he grew up in an era where junior events, started getting good, and he is tied more calves in 6 as a pre-teen or as a pre-20 or a pre-world champion than he has than most world champions.
Yeah. Am I right? My theory, and guys like Joe Beaver have told me that I'm right in what I'm about to say, but I mean, you're only 33 years old. You're not old. You first qualified for the NFR when you were 18, and you had a lot of opportunities. Barry Burke's big roping, your dad's big junior roping, things like that. But, with all the stuff Chris Neal's putting on now, and junior NFRs and junior Americans, and I don't even know that I know all the events that have youth or junior attached to their name. It seems to me like the number of events young ropers can go to, even over the last 10 years, has doubled or tripled, even from what you had an opportunity to go to.
Oh, it is crazy how many events. I grew up when I was 12, 13, 14 years old, going to maybe 12 just an association events, and then maybe 3 or 4 jackpots. And so when Burke's came around, that was like our world championship. Everybody was at Burke's. You work so hard for it. Shoot, these kids nowadays, they have a Burke's every weekend. Which it's good and it's bad, because I see a lot of burnout, honestly, within these kids, and but also see, what would be my advice, to answer your question is, and I tell these kids every time, and it's what I relearned, a few months ago. The number one thing is advice that I have for you: have fun with it, enjoy it. So your parents work really hard. I'm sure you work really hard, just enjoy that dream that we're getting to live. Because if you watch the numbers from high school, memberships to college memberships, junior memberships to high school to college, the numbers drop off significantly each year, or each, age division. And it's so important, for those kids to enjoy, that moment. Because, we all are so young. We think we're going to be, the next, Cody O, Trevor Brazil. Those kids now, they think they're going to be the next Riley Webb. And there's only going to be a few that are.
Yeah.
Even the kids that have so much talent. And, that's what, as a advice, just for the parents, just let them enjoy it as much as you can too, focus, show up, take care of business, work hard, enjoy it. It's way more simple than we're making it.
I know that I cannot do what I do at a rodeo as an announcer, or even doing a show like this, if I'm not having fun. I cannot imagine that, all the miles and all the hours and all the overnight drives and all that kind of stuff, that, and I think I saw it with you this year. I think I saw it with Casey Field when, Casey kind of had two careers. There was the 2011 to 2014 world champion every year. And then, he lost his dad and some other things happened. And then when he came back with a vengeance. Casey was having more fun the second half of his career than I think he ever had the first half. The point being, you cannot be successful in this business if you're not having fun, can you?
Oh, yeah, that's when you're having fun and you really enjoy what you do, then, how can they beat you?
Yeah.
Because it's not even about that at that point. It's just about, what's coming for you. And I think, if we just focus on the good, then the good will, eventually come because, the light always prevails.
Yeah. Tuf, before I let you go, you mentioned that you were planning on putting on that event in Costa Rica. Is there someplace people should watch, or, if you've got some opportunities coming up, are there your social media or
yes, sir. My social, I'll get aggressive with the social once I get everything locked in. But, as far as now, we're shooting for, right after Christmas of this coming December. So we can be good for everyone up here. It's like I said, it's a cheap flight. If you book early, it's like you can fly for $200 to Costa Rica. Yeah, I'll have horses, everything set up. We'll have some fun. I did have one question for you, though. Actually, I don't even know if it's a question, but just more of a interview of the decade.
Okay.
Question of the decade. You nailed it. Thank you so much. The Kai Hamilton interview during the NFR. Perfection.
My Facebook and social media had more activity than I ever thought was possible for me during the National Finals Rodeo. And I swear to God, it was 4 words from Kai Hamilton. Don't be a pansy, which is not what he did during the National Finals Rodeo. I thought was, the question I asked was this day when there were 2 performances in one day for the first time ever at the National Finals Rodeo, and Kai places in one and makes the only qualified ride and wins $98,000 out of the other one, is a day that should go down in bull riding history, I think. What he did during the NFR was, you've been there, you've competed in that arena, Tuf. It's not easy to win. And what he did was unbelievable, I thought.
It was unbelievable. I had so much fun watching his performance. The way that you just teed the question up perfect. Oh, it was perfect. It was awesome.
I kind of knew I'd get an interesting answer from Kai, but I got an interesting answer.
You did. Yes, sir.
I asked you for a few minutes and you gave me almost 40, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. You and your family I just can't tell you how thrilled I am to see how happy you are with everything that seems to be going. It was sure fun to watch you at the NFR this year.
Yes, sir. God willing, we'll be back for more. Steve, thank you so much for having me on. Very grateful. And I look forward to seeing you lots and lots all year long.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to interviewing you and your daughter again a couple of times.
You bet. Yes, sir.
There you go. Tuf Cooper joining us on the Steve Kenyon podcast. Tuf, travel safe. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.